Okay, question 23. We're told that 2x squared minus 20x plus c is exactly equal to a brackets x minus b all squared plus 3b. So the first thing to say is that this symbol here is an identity symbol, and it just means that the left-hand side is exactly equal to the right-hand side. And we use it in algebra. So for example, x brackets x plus 3 is exactly equal to x squared plus 3x. And that just means that that's true for all values of x. So whether you substitute in positive, negative, or 0 into this, it will always be exactly equal. Now, hopefully you're recognizing the fact that this form here is the completed square form. So what we need to do is complete the square for this, and then can make comparisons to see what the values of a and b are. And then that'll help us work out what c is. So what we should know as well is that to complete the square, we need to make sure that the value in front of x squared is 1. So typically if I'm trying to complete the square for x squared plus 10x plus 7, okay, then what I do is I open up a square bracket, I half the value in front of 10, so that's 5, and I put it in a square bracket, so this means x plus 5 brackets x plus 5. And when I expand this out, I'm going to get x squared plus 2 lots of 5x, which gives me the 10x. And then I'm going to end up doing the 5 times the 5 at the end, which gives me plus 25. But I don't want plus 25, I want plus 7. So this is what I've got, which will give me plus 25 on the end. I want plus 7, so I have to take away an 18. Okay, because plus 25 take away 18 then takes me down to plus 7. So that's just an example to show you how the completed the square form works. It's not to do with the question, but you need to make sure in order to do this, the number in front of x squared is 1. Okay, so looking at this question, I can't complete the square yet until I've divided every term by 2. So what I'm going to do is take a factor of 2 out, because I need to put that back in at the end. And then I'll be able to complete the square on the bit on the inside. So dividing every term by 2, I'm going to get x squared minus 10x. Now I don't know what that value is, but whatever the value is, I need to divide it by 2. So I'm just going to write plus c over 2. So now, a bit like this, I'm going to essentially ignore all the bits that are around the bracket. So ignore all of that, and just focus on that middle bit and complete the square on that. So I need to make sure I write the 2 bracket in as well, so I don't forget to put it in afterwards. So I want to complete the square, so looking at minus 10, it's going to be minus 5. And the plus c over 2. Now this is the difficult bit, because in my made up example, I said it's plus 7. So it then meant that when I had my plus 25, I could then know just to subtract 18 to make it 7. But I don't know that in this case, it's just plus c, or c over 2. So if you think about it, another way I could have done this question is thinking, right, 5 squared is 25, so if I did 25 take away 25, that takes me down to 0. And if I then wanted to add on, so if I did x plus 5 all squared minus 25, that will then give me x squared plus 10x plus 0. Okay, so if I wanted to have the plus 7 on the end, I would then need to add on the 7. And minus 25 add on 7 gives me minus 18. So applying that same approach up here, which I'll need to do because I don't know what this value is, I know that gives me plus 25. If I take away the 25 to take me to 0, and then add on the c over 2, just like I've added on the 7 here, it will then help me work out what this bit's going to be. So Let's close the bracket now. Now, I need to now put back in this factor of 2 that I've taken out. So in other words, every term needs to be multiplied by 2. So I'm going to get 2 brackets, x minus 5 all squared. That minus 25 is now minus 50. And I'm dividing by 2, timesing by 2, so that just gives me plus c. Now, this is supposed to exactly equal a brackets x minus b all squared plus 3b. So if we make comparisons with what we've got, we can see here the a is 2. We can see here the b is 5. Okay, now just think about this. It's x minus, that's already given to you. So the value of b itself is just the 5. Okay, so b itself is 5 and not minus 5 because the minus was already given to you. So if you said the b was minus 5, you would then end up with a situation where you've got minus minus, which makes a plus. So the b value itself is just 5. And then we've got this situation where we've got minus 50, add a number, that makes plus 3b. So if we think about this, 3b is part of the value that we already have worked out. So we know that b, let's list this out, so a was 2, we know b was 5. So if b was 5, this 3b is 15. So we've got this, and we need plus 15. So how do we go from minus 50 up to plus 15? Well, we'd need to add on 65. So C, therefore, must be 65. So you can make comparisons. The A was 2, the B was 5, therefore 3 lots of 5 was 15. So this is what we're trying to get. We wanted to say plus 15. From when we did the completed the square, we ended up with minus 50, add a number. So if we want plus 15, that number must be 65. So when it says work out the value of C, the answer is 65.